If God is sovereign, then history has to reveal his hand. If he reigns, then it must reveal his plans. We're going to see that Daniel is going to actually prophesy through a vision that it would happen before it actually took place within human history. How likely are you to figure out what that means if the angel does not interpret for you? Well, let me just say this. There's been a whole lot of people who tried to interpret it, and they didn't listen to the angel give the interpretation. There are some who just can't fathom that God could tell the future to Daniel that specifically and have concluded wrongly about what this vision means, and they undoubtedly didn't keep reading. I need y'all to make sure that you keep in mind what has just happened. Daniel in 553 or 550 BC has gotten a vision of the events that would happen from 550 BC all the way up to 164 BC. That's a lot of time. That's over 389 years of information that Daniel has just received. We are in 2015. What Daniel saw looked forward in the time, but what Daniel saw we can look back on in time, and we can see presently that everything Daniel saw that was going to happen actually happened exactly as Daniel said it would. The first thing you need to consider is that Israel's failure to keep the covenant had universal consequences. It wouldn't just affect Israel, it would affect all of the known world at the time. It would have catastrophic effect. Sin is a serious thing. It affected generations of Jews. See, the Jews thought we would go into exile, and just as Jeremiah said, 70 years later we would come out of exile. They did come out of exile 70 years later, but listen, God's indignation against the nation didn't end after 70 years. What Antiochus Epiphanes would do to the Jews at that time was still a part of God's indignation against them.